Good morning. Good morning to some. Good evening to some. Good afternoon to some. This is the Eco Beloved here, live and direct, coming to you from the studio here. And hope everyone is well on this Thursday morning, pre-dawn hours. It's past midnight here, a little past midnight here on the East Coast. So good evening to those tuned in on the West Coast and anywhere in between and internationally. We are streaming also on my Facebook page, the Eco Beloved, and also simulcasting to New Freedom Network and New Freedom Exchange on Facebook and YouTube pages. So go ahead and go like all of those pages, including mine, and also streaming to my personal platform as well. So again, peace and blessings to everyone. Assalamu alaikum, universal greetings of peace to everyone on this early Thursday morning update on the current situation with new developments as it relates to the storm system that is being watched, and the potential to see some snows or no snows or some in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast / New England region to come Friday into Saturday and some into Sunday. So I wanted to come live here tonight to briefly talk with you all and share some of the latest guidance and projections for the storm system for this potential for this weekend. And wanted to also take any questions that you all have. You can put them in the chat too. And also, if you have questions after the pre-recording, we welcome those questions as well. You can feel free to share any questions that you have, and I can answer them later. And also, if you watch this broadcast, please share and like and subscribe and share to your friends and your family. So, timeline here. So let's discuss what we're looking at. It's a very complicated forecast, very complicated. It involves a lot of pieces coming together at the same time. And for the storm system to track in a good place for us to get snow. Too far away east would be a miss to all of I-95, basically. And there will be some snows out into Suffolk County and Nantucket, Cape Cod, places like that, closer to the coastal areas. We'll get more in the way of snow, of some accumulation to moderate accumulation, and then further east or further west to the city, and then to Jersey, and then to PA, nothing, especially into Jersey and PA. It's going to be a very sharp cutoff with this storm system in terms of the precipitation shield, a very sharp cutoff. So it'll be a matter of miles. We're talking about a matter of miles with the track of the system. A little jog, 25, 50 miles west, a little jog, 20, 50 miles east is going to mean a heck of a lot in terms of snow accumulations. So much. From 2 feet, 1 to 2 feet, to maybe 2 to 6 inches, to nothing. It's just a matter of miles away from how far the precip shield gets inland, and also the track is so crucial, and also the intensity of the storm system as well. But what is so for certain that there will be wind and coastal flooding, regardless of how 25, 50 miles west or 20, 50 miles east, the coastal areas are going to have to deal with coastal flooding issues, especially with the winds that are expected to gust and to for the storm to push water further inland into the coast. So there will be some coastal issues and some wind issues, regardless of the track of the storm system. If whatever precipitation we get, it's going to be blowing. Whatever, and especially along the coast, it's going to be an issue in terms of coastal flooding. So that's two things that's for pretty much for certain. And also the cold air is in place, which is a major factor here, that the cold air is in place for this to be a pretty much a snow event. If we get the precipitation to come in at the right place, get the precipitation, the precip shield to come in and the storm system track in a nice place, then we can have ourselves a nice moderate to heavy snowstorm for I-95 from Philly on northward. DC and Baltimore is tricky with this storm system because this is not a storm system that, again, the precipitation shield is very starch in terms of cutoff. It's going to be a drastic cutoff in precipitation. So DC and Baltimore, guys may be spared from this round of wintry precipitation more than likely. But let's take a look at some of the computer models. Again, look at some of these projections, and let's try to wrap ourselves around what's occurring here and explain a little bit of the science as it presents itself here. I'm going to get ready to share my screen. I'm going to look at some of the models as they come in. And let's see here. Let's share screen. And again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to chime in. Share screen. Chrome tab. Yeah, job local tip. Okay. All right. Let me see. Can everyone still hear me? Yes? Please put a yes in the chat. You can still hear me. Let's see here. Can everyone still hear me? Yes? Good. Very good. All right. So we're on our good friends Tropical Tidbits website. Our good friends open source website for information as it relates to satellite imagery, aircraft reconnaissance, forecast models, etc. So we're going to focus mainly on this part, which is forecast models. And we're going to look at the GFS. The GFS, again, is the American model that we look at for predictions. This is the 00Z suite here. And there's different suites, meaning that different runs of the models come out within different durations of the day. So there's different suites of the same model as well. So they come out at different times. I think this is only up to 30 hours. Yes. Forecast time. Oh, this is done. This is runtime. So this model is coming in. This model is just now coming into play here. Let me see if it'll allow me to move up. Oh, yeah. So, okay, we're good. Okay. So this model is in play. All right. Perfect. Let's see if we can make the screen bigger. Okay. Maybe this is too big. Okay. This is perfect. Tighten this up. Let me see here. Okay. All right. So, all right. So our storm system is several pieces of energy that we're going to be looking at. There's one piece of energy is coming in off the West Coast, or just arriving now hitting the West Coast. And there's going to be another piece of energy that's going to come up as well from the south. All right. So let's see here. Run this model here. Oh, all right. It's getting a little crazy. I don't like how this is shaping here. Let me see. It's not giving me full screen. All right, here we go. So I want everyone to pay attention to a couple of features here. High pressure sitting at this point in this place in Canada is good. This is a good thing. Actually, a great thing that we have this sitting where it's at and not fleeing from us. Stays there, pouring in some cold air down into the storm system itself, so it keeps us cold to have snow. Now the GFS model, American model, has been pretty accurate this year this winter so far in terms of projecting these past winter storms that have missed the tri-state and given snows and wintry precipitation to our friends in the South and the Mid-Atlantic states. Northeast and New England have basically been spared of a lot of the storms that have come so far this winter in the past. Right? So with that being said, it is a model that was still we still need to look at and not discard just yet. So we are approaching the short term. So a lot of the short term models, which we'll discuss as well, are coming into play as we speak. So the GFS is here and is in play. Now, since it's in play, at hour 48, we see that our center of low pressure system is off the coast of the Carolinas, due east of the Carolinas, southeast of the Carolina coast, just east of Georgia. These blue lines here are indicative of the upper air pattern, which is important to know the jet stream pattern because that will dictate the track of the storm system. We're looking for a specific negative tilt, and that almost perfect negative tilt. These blue lines are indicative of the jet stream pattern. If the jet stream pattern does not pull this thing up northwards, as I said right now, according to the GFS model, it's pulling the storm. The jet stream is pulling the storm further this way, which is further away from the coast. That negative tilt has to catch up with this southern jet stream. This red line indicative of the southern jet. These two have to phase and they have to merge and they have to negatively tilt the storm system to go, instead of going out this way, it would come up the coast this way. And it will land at the 4070 benchmark. My cursor is at 3972 north, 71.46 west, which is okay. The benchmark is right about around there, roughly, right? 40 degrees north, 70 degrees west. That is what in meteorological terms we look at when we talk about nor'easters, these storms that form in the south, way south in the southern region of the southeast, and they ride up the Atlantic Ocean, just further enough away off the coast, not too far out east, just right in that sweet spot. We want the storm center circulation to be where my cursor is at, 39, about 40 degrees north, 70 degrees west. If it's not there, then obviously it's too far away from bringing snow further into I-95, the cities along I-95, and definitely not bringing anything into PA or New York State. As you see here, nothing is going on. In hour 54 and hour 60, our storm system is way over here. Like, center circulation is like way out here, like, and just like brushing the coastline of far eastern Long Island, Cape Cod, Boston, but barely scraping the Jersey Shore, barely scraping Delaware. It's not even a factor, as you see, going to central northern New Jersey, the Hudson Valley, nothing in eastern, nothing is PA, nothing in upstate New York. Like, there's nothing going on. This is the latest run of the GFS model right now. And this model, it can be problematic in terms of maybe there's some biases in the upper air pattern, and maybe it's not being able to pick up this tilt and this and these other factors with the upper air pattern. Sometimes the models do have biases built into them, and sometimes they're not able to pick up certain elements, so they're not good with that in that regard. So let's pull up. Let me see here, runtime. Let's go back to 18Z. 18Z. The 18Z suite, this is earlier yesterday at hour 60? Yeah, hour 66, 84. This is a bomb storm. Like the GFS, and I think a lot of other models agreeing that this storm is basically going to explode as it pushes tracks past Long Island going up to New England. It's going to just blow up, like 957 millibar pressure. It's a very strong storm system and tight pressure gradient, and tight those millibars, those little small lines of pressure, tightly packed around the center of circulation. Heavy snow, heavy winds going up to Maine and eventually into Nova Scotia at that point, right? Look at that. Woo! That's the coastal area is getting slammed. New England's getting slammed. That's hour 78. Go back to hour 72. Yeah, see, even the 18Z model ran storm way out too far east to bring in any of the heaviest snows more towards the major cities, just mainly a brush of the coastal areas. That's the 18Z run of the GFS from yesterday. 12Z basically showed almost a similar observation here. Too far east. We need to get it a little further westward, a couple more miles. All right. And then those 6 suite of the GFS shows, again, some snow getting into New York City, Jersey, Central Jersey, Jersey Shore, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Again, some snow, but not the clobbering that some of the other models are showing. And this is the 00 suite from yesterday as well. The GFS is running in. This more runtime of today today's is going to come in as 1 a.m. approaches us. This will be fully loaded with the American model. Now, let's show the mesoscale here. Let's go to some of our short-term suite here. This is coming in runtime. Is this in yet? Let's see. Okay, so this is the NAM model. This is the short range. Let's skip around here. Let's go to our 45. See some of the elements here. 48. No. 60. I think it's hour 60. We should be seeing our starts to develop. Yeah, around take shape there. Hour 63. Okay. Hour 66. Okay. It's a little wobbly. Let's see. Hour 69. Let me see. Hour 72. If we can do it. Yeah, the NAM this is from today, showing a storm system way out to sea. I mean, it doesn't even barely brushes the Nantucket, Cape Cod area, if anything, and just blows by. And that was it's from today. That's still loading though. Let's check check yesterday. Yesterday shows almost the same projection here of a storm way out to sea. Let me see. 12Z suite. The 12Z suite from the earlier suite from the earlier Wednesday, yesterday, showed a direct hit. The precip shield getting those darker blues indicate that's very heavy snow and wind tightly. Don't forget those tight millibars of equal pressure around the center of circulation. So heavy wind, heavy snow. New York City, all of Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts, heavy snow getting to parts of New Jersey as well. So this is the hour 78 of and see how things change with the suites. As we got later in the day, the NAM started to take on an extreme, I would say, of the storm not even coming close to the city, to any touching any landmass, pretty much, except for Nantucket and Cape Cod. Not saying that this is not likely to happen, but it might be, again, some bias here, and might not be handling, again, this negative tilt. I want everyone to observe the jet stream pattern, these blue lines, and the difference in the blue lines. There's a difference here. The blue lines caught up with the southern jet stream. There's indicative of these red lines here. They're merging and they're phasing right in the sweet spot. This is that tilt. But this upper air pattern of the jet stream has to catch up to the storm, and has to catch it at the right time, and timing has to be perfect. If it misses it, then it's going to hook to the east, as the GFS keeps alluding to. Then it's going to hook to the east and take a lot of the precipitation with it out to sea. So that is the run of the 12Z suite of the NAM. 06 suite showed still snow getting into the big cities, New York City, Boston, Connecticut, down to Philly. Excuse me. And then the 00 suite of the NAM, when it first started to come into picture, it shows a beautiful situation. In fact, let's go back. I went too far back. Let's see if we can bring this up. Look at that beautiful situation. It showed nice system sitting right there. Snow is coming in. And again, jet stream is catching up. And so this thing is going to go right up the coast, right up to that benchmark, that 40 degrees north, 70 degrees west place. But at this point in then the model run, it showed, and again, the NAM just came on now, because these short range models don't come on until around this time, not too far away from the actual duration of the event, is when we really start looking at what these short range models are showing, and really kind of start disregarding, well, not disregarding, but you have to think about the long range models, like the GFS and the European and the Canadian and the Japanese models. They're meant for long range projections, and not really for the short range projections. So, not saying we don't take them into consideration. The NAM has been pretty good. Last winter was pretty good, and actually, I think it was either last winter or the winter before last that it basically nailed a couple snowstorms down to the last minute, where caught a lot of people by surprise, mainly a lot of the media and some of the other meteorologists in this field, who like to particularly hug to a bias on one particular model or one particular run of a model, which is just projections. And we're looking for trends here. We're looking for patterns. What's the pattern? We're looking for finding a constant pattern, a constant variable here to make a decision on what's going to happen. We have to have consistency, or there has to be some level of consistency to make a call. Now, some people may start making calls now to prep people in advance for a potential storm system. That's what we're doing right now. This is prep for getting it on your mind now that it's the potential to see snow in the major cities. How much? I'm not even going to discuss that at this point. Maybe by later today, we'll come back live. There'll be a better understanding as to the track, and then we can start talking about accumulations. Right now, everyone's going to be leaning 2 to 6. So some people say 2 to 6. Some people said 10 inches. Some people say a foot. Some people say 2 feet. It's just all over the place, because some people are holding on to particular biases with some models, one model run, and not looking at the full spectrum of all the model runs, and looking at and referencing them with some of the other models as well. So that's the NAM. Let's see what the Canadian is saying to us. The latest run of the Canadian models coming in now. And the Canadian actually also was in line with the European, showing a storm that center of circulation is at that 3970, it's at that 40-degree north 70 west point. So it does bring snow all the way into New York City, all the way into Philadelphia, Delaware, up the coast, Connecticut, up into Rhode Island and Boston. It does bring that in this point, right? So this is for those who want to see some great snow, probably like what you see with the Canadian model. And it's been rather consistent in showing that, showing this. So let's actually go back to today's run 12Z suite. Let me see here. Actually, the 12Z suite actually showed a further east track. So it's actually jogged west, actually, further west, back west, actually. It's very interesting that, and sometimes the models will do that because they're playing catch up with, as the storm comes in to the west coast, to the Pacific, the first piece of energy, there's more data, more accurate data, more input is being put into these models now since the storm was onshore versus versus the storm, or this piece of energy rather, being on the sea. Now the 00Z suite of the Canadian model had a storm system right here, again coming up 3850 north, 7146 west. Still good for bringing snows to the city, New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and New Jersey down to Delaware. So it kind of wobbled. It went from showing this to then showing what we just saw with the suite that came after that later on in the day. That was the 12Z, which showed a further east positioning. And now the 00Z suite has the storm right back to the almost the 3970 spot, this benchmark, the sweet spot. So it just jogged back westward just now. So this is what makes the forecasting very fun and very interesting to make. Let's see. The Japanese, I think this is copyrighted, so we won't get to see brushers, but we do get to see some of the upper air pattern here of the height here, and this big dip in the jet stream, as you see here, that's indicative of this like huge dip. It's going to get really cold down south, by the way. And our center of circulation energies are right there where we want them. So the Japanese model puts this storm right there, 40 degrees north, 70 west, just indicative of bringing snows again into Jersey, into New York City, Long Island, Connecticut. I think this is a good spot. It's that sweet spot. You know, even if it's a little further, a couple more miles westward, we're dealing with nice, moderate snowfalls for the city, for Jersey, Connecticut, Boston, etc. And in between, right here. Sharp cutoff, though. Sharp cutoff. Remember, it's going to be a sharp cutoff from heavy, moderate to nothing in a matter of miles. So this is the type of situation we want to see happen if you live on the coast. If you want to see something happen further inland, New York State, Central PA, then the storm system really has to be like super tight to the coast to even bring back precipitation this further backward. So that's the Japanese model. The European, see what the European is talking about. Okay. New European is coming in actually right about now. I think this comes in at 2. I think it's going to go out further. So let's go back to the, no, we go back to earlier, the last run of the European 18Z suite from yesterday. Okay. All right, so 18Z suite, this is the European model we're looking at right now. Again, there's that dip in the jet stream right there. Center of circulation of our storm system is developing somewhere down here in the South Atlantic Ocean. And right up the coast, at this point, it has a low way out here. I mean, this is not indicative. This is not what people would like. If you like snow in the major cities, it kind of is too far away. I mean, if it brings it in just a little bit westward to that sweet spot, 40 degrees north, 70 degrees west benchmark, then we bring this precipitation right back into the major cities. With this, where it's at now, or where it was at projected earlier yesterday, it again brushes the coastline, eastern Long Island, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and maybe the Jersey Shore get some snows, but nowhere near to what, if the storm system is a little closer, everyone gets a piece of the action a little further inland. But again, sharp cutoff. Let's remember that. Let's see here. I want to do mesoscale. Let me see, not the climate. Let's discuss upper air pattern here. Okay, see, now they got me on. Can I get to precip? Lower dynamics. Yeah, there we go. I wonder if the European would give me that. It's blocked. Yeah, it's blocked. Let's go back. Let's go back to the upper dynamics. Precip and moisture. Let's put that back on. There we go. Oh, wow, that's the wrong one. It's a different look, but we'll do. There we go. Let's go to now some of the upper dynamics. Let's see what's going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere, because it's crucial to know. In fact, this is not the one. I think we're going to go to high anomalies here. Here we go. Find the words. Okay, that's key. All right, this is it right here. So we look at the upper air pattern. Remember, we talked about the jet stream catching up and that negative tilt. Looking for that negative tilt, right? This is that tilting here. Storm, where you see this sharp indication showing where that storm system is going to develop, and it's going to show how the jet stream interacts with the storm system, and not this, and indicating how it interacts with the system, and also how it brings the system either further westward or further eastward, right? So at this point in the GFS model, they're showing, again, that storm system is right about here, because this is where, again, those lines of indentation is indicative of a low pressure system right there. So just showing, again, the upper air pattern and how it looks with these models here. I'm trying to see the CMC will let me do that. Yes. Okay, so this is the Canadian model here. And what it produces is, oh, wow, deep energy here, real deep. And the phasing is not, the phasing is splitting there. It's weird. It shouldn't look like that. It should keep this negative indentation, and it should keep its wholeness as the solar system. But again, there is going to be several pieces here The upper air pattern is crucial with the jet stream. The energy coming from the south and this phasing that's going to have to happen, this transferring of energy between the two systems to form this one center of low pressure system to ride that coast. It's going to have to be a transfer of energy. If that transfer energy doesn't happen, these storms don't phase, and the jet stream doesn't catch up and produce that negative tilt that we need to send it to that 40-70 benchmark, then we're going to have a problem of not having a strong enough system. Let's see here. The Japanese model is, I'll go back, man, because it's not loading still. Excuse me. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's Japanese model shows again that tilt, negative tilt, and then pulls the storm. And this is skipping in time a little fast too. But this is showed it both the model shows a negative tilt in the atmosphere, and it keeps that storm. And again, pay attention to those millibars, those lines of equal pressure. The jet stream is tilting. It's going to eventually tilt this storm, form there, and take that direction we needed to take that 40-70 to the 40-70 benchmark. Doesn't tilt, and this comes flattened, then we're going to have a problem in terms of the storm system not being able to get to the 40-70 benchmark instead of it just goes straight this way out to sea and takes most of the moisture with it as it does that. Now, there is some information here. Let's see, that I'd like to share this evening. I think from my point of view at this point is that as models come in tonight and until tomorrow morning, we'll get to see a better feel for the guidance in terms of where the storm is going. And that will be the key, the track and its strength. I'm not even going to bother talking about snow accumulations and different things like that at this point of time, because it doesn't make sense to do so. I don't feel like it makes sense to do so just yet. I know the National Weather Service put out some information, and they're going with a general swath of moderate to heavy snows from New York City onto Montauk, with a foot of snow potentially for Suffolk County, and basically like 6 to 8 inches for the city, and then a sharp cutoff. North Jersey, maybe Paramus getting 5, and then New City and Hudson Valley getting a couple inches, and then Connecticut getting, depending on where you are in Connecticut, but if you're from Bridgeport up to New London and Norwich, general 8 to 10, 12 inches. And then the jackpot would be Boston and Plymouth and the Cape, 12, basically a foot to a foot to a foot and a half, 12 to 18 inches. But again, that's the first call from the National Weather Service. In terms of amounts, I'm not ready to give amounts just yet, for the simple fact I think we need to see what the overnight models put out there and tomorrow morning, and then see where we're at this point. However, there is a potential to see snows at some point Friday night. We're talking about Friday night into Saturday. So this is a weekend event. So it's a good thing that it is a weekend event, because a lot of people will not be on the roads. So whatever falls will be able to be cleaned up and get cleaned up before Monday, hopefully. Hopefully be cleaned up by Sunday. But the time period we're looking at is Friday night into Saturday. So, and for the heaviest precipitation, or whatever precipitation falls, it would be snow, pretty much, because the cold air is in place. So that we know for sure is happening. Cold air is in place. The wind is going to be a factor regardless. Storm giving us a foot or giving us a few inches or giving us nothing. The wind is going to be a problem because of a storm system that's deepening. It's going to, what they call bombogenesis. It's going to, the barometric pressure is going to drop, and then you're going to see the wind gradient around the storm system become tight, and it's going to create winds that's going to be gusting 30, 40, 45, maybe 50 miles per hour, especially if you're closer to the coast. And that's where we're going to get coastal flooding issues as well. So these are some of the things that are pretty much going to happen regardless of the track situation. But right now, if you want to talk about precipitation amounts, I still think it's still a little too early to put that out. The potential is there, again, to get snows, moderate, light, moderate, heavy. And again, I think that the guidance projections will come in tomorrow or overnight tonight and give us a better sense of where the storm is going and how much to whom and when. Well, how much to whom and who's going to be the winner here. It's going to become a nowcast situation too. The NAM is in place. NAM is out now, so the NAM is going to be relied on a little more heavier as a short range model. And then you take consideration some of these last remaining runs of the European and GFS model to see if those models can come to some sort of agreement on something. That would be optimal for everyone if the models can agree to something. The GFS has been pretty accurate so far this winter, like I said earlier. The European has not been accurate since Hurricane Sandy. The European model was the one that predicted Hurricane Sandy. All the other models did not do too well with Hurricane Sandy at all. Actually, they even show it being a threat to what took place during Hurricane Sandy. So the European had nailed Hurricane Sandy perfectly. Hasn't been really accurate since then. So the NAM has been pretty good or decent. So I mean, it's I don't think we should be picking on models and just hugging them. We take everything into consideration, and by today, I will feel more confident and comfortable talking about snow accumulations and talking about what is going to happen. So I'm not saying people cancel your plans just yet for the weekend. I would not cancel just yet. I will put on the radar for everyone this morning, that there's a potential to see snow this weekend. And it could be moderate to heavy. The worst case scenario, the heavy. Powdery snow, it's going to be powdery. Temperatures are going to be in the 20s during the duration of the storm system, going down to the teens. The snow will not be melting in the next few days. Whatever falls in the next few days won't be melting fast either. So the snow will stick around. Whatever falls will stick around and will refreeze in the night. So that's where we're at in terms of that storm system. So again, stay tuned here. The Eco Beloved, we're back. We're in full force, and we'll have updates tomorrow. Today, rather, throughout the day, coming back live again with you all with more updates as we get closer and the guidance comes more out and the input is there. So everyone, take it easy tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great Thursday, and we'll speak soon. God willing. Peace and blessings. Good night.